So I hate to admit this, but I've been relying on one of these in case of fire for all my overlanding and camping adventures with the dogs and the wife and the Jeep. And I'll be honest with you, I've never even used one of these freaking things. I don't know if you guys are like me, but that stresses me out. I ordered something new from H3R Performance. I want to unbox this today and check it out. Show you guys where I think I'm going to mount it. Well. Oh, hey now. Are you guys seeing this? I think my wife is going to be stoked. H3R Performance, thank you. Nice. So we've got the Halgard Auto, 2.5 pound by the way, just in case. Can never have too much, I'm guessing. And something pretty cool. I splurged a little. We got the ProLock. So what have I done? Don't rip on me too much for this. I know, man. I've been relying on this way too long. And here's the thing. I had fire extinguishers in cars and hot rods I've built in the past. And the thing is I just never really put one in the Jeep. I don't know why. No excuses. But having one in a hot rod where you're in a metropolitan area on a highway or a freeway or something like that's a little different than being out in the forest or someplace where you could light the whole damn forest on fire. And so I think this is going to be a really important upgrade for the Jeep. What I did was I went with Halgard's, let me see it here, Clean Agent. Let me explain why. So when you're putting out a fire in a car and it's an electrical fire or something like that, and by the way, I've got electrical that I ran for things like my Baja Design lights, my rock lights, my GMRS radio. I mean, there's just things that we do, right? Does it really increase the chances for fire? I guess it depends on how you routed your wires. Did you put a wire loom on, whatever it is, but regardless, fire in the Jeep would be a major no-no. Future Jeff here with my wind tunnel tested hairdo. There's a few things I want to mention that I think are important. Fire extinguishers are really there if you can get an early jump on a fire and suppress it and put it out before it gets out of hand, right? Once a vehicle is fully engulfed in flames, I think you've probably missed your opportunity and a fire extinguisher might not cut it. The other thing too is understand the types of fires you're going to be dealing with so you pick the right fire extinguisher. So you've got Class A fires, B, C, D, I think there's K for kitchen or something like that. But a Class A fire is going to be normal combustibles like wood and paper, right? Stuff like that. A Class B fire is going to be for your fluids, things, gases and fluids that are flammable like gasoline, fluids like transmission fluid, power steering fluid, something that gets squirt on a hot manifold, for instance. And catch on fire and ignite just due to the heat. And then Class C fire would be your electrical fire. So things like your battery, a short circuit, a fuse, blown fuse and short circuit, just a hot wire, right? A wire gets too much current going through it, maybe melts the insulation off. And then you got combinations too, where you might have power steering fluid squirting on a hot wire or something like that, right? So those last two, those two, B and C, fluids, gases, electrical, that's really what this is intended to cover. Is it going to put out a fire that's paper and things like that too? It probably would, right? It's gonna help. But those are important things to note when you pick the fire extinguisher you're going with. The element extinguishers, these are not bad. In fact, they can be very effective if you get an early jump on the fire. And the way they work, first let's back up and talk about the fire triangle. When you try to put a fire out, there's three things that feed a fire. One is the fuel, heat, and oxygen. If you remove any of those three things from the triangle, the fire's going to go out. Hopefully, yeah. Anyway, so if you take away the oxygen, the fire can't breathe. It's going to suffocate. If you take away the fuel, there's nothing to burn. And of course, if you take away the heat, it's not hot enough to ignite, right? But the way the element works is a little different than the way a lot of fire extinguishers work in removing the oxygen, right? the way I understand it, there's a chemical reaction where the chemical that it creates bonds with the oxygen molecules and makes it unavailable for the fire. So it's very similar, but it's not exactly the same, but it's still very effective. And again, if you get an early jump on the fire, that's going to be really good. So now I've got a backup. I've got this really handy. You'll see where I'm going to put this, and it's going to be very accessible. That's the key to getting an early jump on that fire. Again, once the vehicle is fully engulfed in flames, I think you missed your opportunity. Anyway, get yourself a couple of options. Keep them in your Jeep when you're overlanding. I think you'll thank yourself later if something ever does go wrong. Hey, if you like this video or you find any of this useful, hit the like button and subscribe. It helped me out a lot, and we'll be doing a lot of these types of videos in the future too. The reason I went with the clean agent, right, is because when a fire does occur, you don't have a lot of time to think. You're just going to be pointing and shooting that thing at the base of the fire. And wherever that chemical agent that comes in those fire extinguishers that use the white powdery chemicals, that stuff does a lot of damage. Yeah, it's going to put out the fire, save the vehicle, things like that, but it also damages a lot of things. And the clean agent doesn't do that. So note it comes in red, black, or chrome. So if you want a different color, I got red so that, you know, let's say I'm not the one that's got to go run and get the fire extinguisher. Somebody else has to grab it. It's going to stick out like a turd in a punch bowl, right? So this should be pretty cool. I did the 2.5 pound. I want to have enough here to put out a serious fire if I have to. It may be overkill, but I did the 2.5 pound. Now, you'll notice it came with an actual bracket to mount it in the Jeep, and that probably would have worked for where I'm going to mount it anyway. So I didn't really have to go blingy on the ProLock, right? I didn't know that. Now you know. It comes with one. It comes with a mount. You don't have to buy another mount. But I will admit, this is pretty sick. I think that's going to be really cool. Maybe even a little easier to open than 2. I don't know. I'm making excuses now. But this thing is pretty awesome. I'm digging it. I can't wait to get this mounted. We're going to take this guy off. Now these rings go around the extinguisher and will mount right back to this guy right here, which is what clamps in to the cam lock, like so. Oops. So this is probably a little origami-like, I would imagine. Should fit through here. Oh yeah, there we go. Pop those on. Let's see, how'd we do this? I did it once. Oh, there we go. We've got these guys. And we're gonna pop these in right back here. What I wanted to do is put this at a height and location that's going to be good for mounting it in the Jeep to the spot we talked about. So yeah, this will give me a really good peace of mind, you know, having a fire extinguisher I can count on that I know will work and not allow the Jeep to burn up in a conflagration. I think this will be pretty cool. And we're going to want this side facing out, so we'll turn that around to a location that's going to have it sitting flat. All right, check this out. Instead of mounting it down low where the dogs might be bumping it or maybe even chewing on the little safety here, I'm going to go ahead and remember I've got the Rhino Rack backbone now. I can actually drill some holes in this bad boy for the bracket itself, the cam lock, and mount this guy right here just inside the door. That's pretty awesome. I think my wife suggested this and I forgot, so she's always smarter than I am. What am I gonna do? All right, got our pilot holes drilled. Now we're gonna go ahead and drill those out to the size of the bolts. Take the tape, I'm sure everybody's done this before with something. Roll the tape up, put it on the tip of your finger, stick the nut to the tape on the end of your finger, like so, and you can use that to get back in there and get it on the bolt. There you have it, guys. I think that's a pretty cool spot. Pretty easy to access from right outside the door. Pretty sweet. All right, so I know there's a lot of ways that you can actually set a fire extinguisher up in a Jeep. This is how I did it. I happen to have the Rhino backbone. This worked out really good for me. It's right inside the door here, easy access to with the Chem system from H3R. So you got the H3R ProLock system, H3R Clean Agent fire extinguisher, 2.5 pound. This worked out really well for me, and I'm pretty stoked on this setup. So I like to keep the element in the back right here where all the cooking takes place. So I've got a clip right here where it actually snaps in right above the area where we're preparing our food. And that works out really good for us. You know, if there's anything that you guys would like to see us review, let us know down in the comments. We'll be doing different things and changing things as time goes on, trying new things with the Jeep as we grow out of some stuff. Also, too, if you found this useful, hit the like button and subscribe. We'll be doing a lot more of these in the future. Take care, guys.